This guy quit his job at Target, moved back in with his mom to start a pressure washing business with no money, no equipment, and just a few flyers. And in 2 years, he scaled this business to over $200,000 in revenue. In this interview, we're going to be going over how he quit his job and moved back in with his mom to get his company started, how he started with $0 and sold his first jobs without any equipment or experience, how he got his first customers, and the evolution of his customer acquisition strategy, the pressure washing mistake that ultimately cost him $10,000 to fix. And if you stick around to the end, Gavin's also going to tell us about the $120,000 quote that he recently sent out. This is Gavin Navarro, and he is one of QuoteIQ's newest business owners to become a six-figure earner. He is absolutely crushing it, and in this new series, we are sharing with you the success stories of QuoteIQ's biggest companies, so that way you can copy their blueprint to create success within your own business. So if you're looking for a tool to level up your company, keep track of customers, send estimates, invoices, or collect payments, as well as much more, then you need to be using QuoteIQ, the only CRM that actually listens to and celebrates its users. So be sure to check out the first link in the comment section and the description to try QuoteIQ for absolutely free, and maybe you can become the next six-figure earner. With that being said, let's go and jump into the video. All right, you guys, I'm joined now with Gavin. He is our newest six-figure earner within QuoteIQ. Gavin, how's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. If you don't mind, man, introduce yourself and introduce your business, where you're from, all that kind of good stuff.
I'm Gavin. I'm from New Jersey. I'm an owner-operator of my business called Navarro Pressure Washing. I'm from Central Jersey, to be more specific, and I usually just stick to residential for the most part, like 95% residential.
That's awesome, man. And how long have you been in business for?
Just over 2 years, about 2 years, 3 or 4 months so far. So, been going good.
Okay, excellent. Gavin's absolutely killing it. He's doing multiple six figures just after 2 years in business. So, Gavin, let's kind of talk about things a little bit. Like, what made you want to get into doing pressure washing?
Well, just to be honest, just the money. That was it, really. I was working at Target, and I was pretty broke, and I wanted to make more money. So I tried out pressure washing from all the YouTube videos that I saw and everything, and I listened to what they said, and here I am.
Dude, now you're
Yeah,
killing it. That's beautiful. So,
yeah.
from Target to making a ton of money, at what point did you realize that the Target job really wasn't fulfilling you? Like, I guess you were just seeing YouTube videos on people online making money with pressure washing, and you're like, dude, I got to dump this whole Target thing and
Well,
you know.
I knew from day one it wasn't fulfilling. I just was working it to pay my bills. It sucked the whole time. Um, but I was basically losing my apartment. Actually, I had like debt, not a huge debt, just a little bit. And then I was not going to be able to pay my rent, and I was going to get kicked out of my apartment. I had to move back in with my mom, and that kind of sucked. So I'm like, yeah, I got to try something different here. And I was just being lazy, really, honestly. But then once I, kind of kicked myself in the butt and started trying, um, everything kind of worked out pretty well, honestly.
Awesome, man. So, Gavin, let's talk about this, man. How old are you, first and foremost? And then, secondly, like making the transition from working at Target to starting your own business, like how much money did you have to invest and kind of what were your first steps?
Well, right now I'm 24. I started when I was 22. I invested very little actually, because it's pretty low barrier of entry. So I had no money in my debit account. I had a little bit left on my credit card. So I went to the UPS store and I had them print off, I think it was 200 door hangers. And I went around, um, like rich neighborhoods, and I just put them up. I didn't have any pressure washing equipment. I just put them up. I found a template online. I put my phone number, my info in, and then I actually got two jobs. I think one was for like around 700, and the other was for like 300. So I got pretty lucky to start actually. And then I booked the jobs like a week out, and then I just went and got a bunch of pressure washing stuff with whatever left I could, scrounge together. And then I also learned how to do the pressure washing. I just watched more videos. So that's how I got started.
Dude, that's pretty crazy, bro. So basically, you started this company, like started advertising the company before you were actually able to do any of the work.
Yeah.
So, how much did you spend on that first setup, Gavin? And like, how did you do your quoting for that first job? How did you know what the price?
I had a rough idea of how I wanted to price. I priced too low, but that's fine. It got me started. I just used Google Maps. Those two guys wanted a house wash, and then one of them wanted some window cleaning. So I just did 10 cents a square foot. I don't do 10 cents a square foot now that I'm kind of established and I'm more know what I'm doing, but that's where I started. So I quoted those two jobs, and then as for how much I spent on the pressure washing equipment, I mean the door hangers were probably around $200, and then pressure washing equipment, I probably a couple hundred. I mean, I just got a pressure washer. I took the garden hose from my mom's house. I just borrowed that. without telling her. And then I just picked up some chemical, I think from like Walmart or Home Depot or something. So I think I managed to keep it all under like 400 or 500 bucks. And then the first job paid for everything, so I paid all that off and then bought more door hangers and it just kept going basically.
Okay, sweet. I mean, that's usually what people run into quoting those first couple of jobs. They're going to quote lower, right? Because they want to land them, and obviously, I'm sure
Yeah.
your strategy changed over time. Gavin, tell us about how the strategy for acquiring customers changed, as well as how you reinvested back into equipment. Because I'm sure you're not still running with the same equipment that you were, huh?
I'm not. So at first I was doing door hangers and door hangers work. They just take a long time to put up. And you kind of have to go up to people's houses and stuff. They're fine, but there's pros and cons to every marketing strategy. So after door hangers, it was actually yard signs. Granted, the customers off of yard signs aren't super good, but if you're just getting started, anything's fine. Like just start making money and then you can grow as you go. So I would put up 50 yard signs every Friday, and that was really what let me quit Target because I got to about 2K a week based off of that, which was pretty solid. I mean, that was more than I was making at Target. But I knew it wasn't really what I wanted because I knew Google was better. Google's the king when it comes to advertising. I mean, there's nothing better than Google. So I leveraged all my customers that I was getting from the paper marketing in the beginning into reviews on Google, and I started my SEO and everything, and I got the ball rolling on that. And then that started taking over, so I didn't really have to deal with the cheaper customers or anything like that, or the hagglers. And then I kind of just started getting calls off of Google and local service ads from Google. So I started at the bottom, and it sucked, but I dealt with it and I worked through it, and then I leveraged all of that into better marketing for sure. So I just worked my way up the ladder basically.
Okay, sweet. And then tell us a little bit about the equipment. When did you make the investment into newer equipment, and like what equipment is necessary to do, a couple $100,000 a year?
So I started with basically just like a 2 gallon a minute, really crappy pressure washer from Walmart. And then I transitioned into that 4 gallon a minute, 4,000 PSI one from like Lowe's or Home Depot. I know a lot of people know which one I'm talking about. I don't remember. It was like the DeWalt one. I think they have a Simpson or a Westinghouse one too. I did that one for a long time and it's fine. It got me by. But then eventually I bought an actual nice belt-driven machine with the Honda engine and a general triplex pump, and that was great for like a year. It gave me no problems. But I saved up, and just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got my pressure washing skid for my truck here, my F-250. It's an 8 gallon a minute. It can do hot or cold. It's got like 200 gallons of water and all the hoses and everything, and a ladder rack. So I really just worked my way up as I went. I never took out a loan, and I would say never take out a loan for this because it's just a cash business. It's not something you need debt for. So I really just stayed patient and I played it safe and I just worked hard. I started at the bottom and I just clawed my way up, and that's just basically what I did. So
That's incredible, Gavin. That's awesome, man. And I mean, having the story of going from like quitting your job at
yeah,
Target, living with your mom, to building,
yeah,
a big business is awesome.
yeah.
So, Gavin, if somebody is watching this right now and wants to accomplish the same thing, like let's say they're starting from zero, what advice would you give them? What was kind of the biggest thing that really was like a big game changer for you?
I'm going to give you two answers to that. The biggest thing that stops anybody is they don't even try in the first place. Like a lot of people will just live their life and they'll work a 9 to 5 and then they'll die. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like having a 9 to 5 is perfectly fine and perfectly noble, and you got to, pay your bills and feed your family. But there's a lot of people who don't want to do that, who want to try to make some money, who get the ideas like, oh, I could maybe try pressure washing this or that, but they never have the balls to pull the trigger and even try. And that's the main reason 99% of people try, is because they don't even cross the starting line. So you can't get to the finish line because you don't even cross the starting line. That's the main reason. Now, as for the people who actually do like take the shot and like say, screw it, win or lose, I'm going to go for it and just see what happens. The main reason those guys fail really is just a lack of work. Most guys just can't get the work. They don't know how to market, um, which is the biggest problem you see in general with guys that are pressure washing. I mean, the key to building a successful pressure washing business has actually really nothing to do with the pressure washing itself, believe it or not. You could really suck at pressure washing and do fine in business. I mean, you want to be good at it, but the main thing that actually determines how much money you're going to make and how successful you are is whether you can market. So, and that's for most businesses. I mean, being good at business isn't really being good about the service or the product so much. I mean, you want to be good at it because that's important too. But the determining factor in any successful businesses are sales and marketing. That's it. You just need to know how to sell. You need to know how to market. You need to figure that out, and you need to go for it. So that's my answer to the question.
If you guys need help building your online web presence, transitioning from going door to door, passing out flyers, doing all the legwork to actually getting customers off the internet that are actively seeking you out, you need to make sure that you have a website. If you don't currently have a website, you guys need to check out budget built sites. We have built the cheapest contractor websites. They're 5 times cheaper than, the traditional guys, the gurus, if you will, within this website space. And you can create them 90 times faster. Okay. These guys are going to charge you an arm and a leg to get your site done. And then they're not going to give it to you for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's not the case with us. Literally, in less than 5 minutes, you can have a website ready to go. You can get it listed. You can start getting some web traffic, and you can start landing jobs off of the internet. So if you don't have a website, you need to check it out. Budget Build Sites. It's going to be linked down below, completely free. All you pay for is the hosting on the site. So if you need a website, check out Budget Build Sites.
Dude, very well said, Gavin. Now,
Yep.
Gavin, I think one of the things that separates you from most people is your willingness to learn as much as you can. You actually did some one-on-one coaching with myself and Mike, and I think that
Yep.
sets you apart from about 99% of other guys that won't invest in themselves. So I do want to talk about the investment in yourself, and also how did you design any kind of like parameters around putting money back into the business? Because like too many people, they try to
Yeah.
pull a profit too early and they don't have any system for putting money back in.
Yeah, I mean that's a good idea. I'm in a more of a unique situation compared to a lot of people because a lot of guys have like families and a lot of bills to pay. But I I mean I still live with my family, honestly, even though I'm making a killing. So I don't really have a lot of bills. So I actually just take everything I make honestly and just put it back into the business. That way you grow it as fast as possible. But I understand I'm in a different position, like life wise, than a lot of other people are in that regard. So I would say yes, you need to have a game plan or you need to invest enough back into the business, especially the marketing part of this. That's kind of like the part that like accelerates your profits. And you need to do that. So yeah, it's important to if you're not in a position that I'm in where you have a lot of bills, you need to put your numbers down, get a game plan and stick to it. That's definitely important.
Absolutely. So I think, a big role in how successful we can be is how many competitive advantages we can find. And I think we all have competitive advantages. Like you didn't have a lot of starting capital, but at the end of the day, you leverage the fact that you didn't have much overhead as well to start this
Yeah.
company. So I think another key thing for anybody watching this is finding your competitive advantage. Obviously, if you can limit your overhead and limit your expenses, you can save more and reinvest more. So I think that's a beautiful advice, Gavin. The other thing
Yeah.
is you're young. Was there ever any circumstances where people didn't take you serious because you were young and were you able to kind of like maneuver around that?
A little bit. You get both sides of that coin when you're young. You get people who maybe they don't trust you or whatever. Honestly, I do all my quoting over the phone, so it's really not a big issue for me because people don't know how young I am until I show up, and a lot of times they probably just think I'm an employee or something for a company, you know. Um, but you get the other part of that where if people do figure out it's your business just on their own or whatever, they're like really impressed or they'll refer their friends or be more willing to leave a review. So it actually hasn't hurt me as much as people might think. I actually think it probably helped me more than anything. But I don't know. Even if it did hurt me, I think it'd be fine. It probably wouldn't be a big deal.
Right. Well, I mean, it sounds like you wouldn't let much come in your way, Gavin, and I think that's why you've been so successful is because you didn't let anything
Yeah.
stop you. You didn't let the fact that you didn't know anything about pressure washing stop you from marketing or getting jobs or, you didn't have any equipment. You were living at your mom's house. So I think there's a lot to be said about kind of like that fake it until you make it mentality. So, Gavin, when did you start using Quote IQ within your business?
Pretty quick, actually. I mean, probably after a month or two, I needed a way to keep track of my receipts better for tax purposes and everything. Um, Pretty quick though. I mean, I knew about it, and it's pretty much designed for pressure washing.
Yep, absolutely, man. And how important are knowing your numbers, or what are some of the tools that you like to utilize within Quote IQ that you get a lot out of?
Um, Estimates and invoices are really good. I mean, it's just simple. It makes you look professional. Contacts are good. You can you know, do email automation and everything. It's got a lot of good stuff in there. It's very easy to use. It's not like overly complicated like a lot of CRMs. I mean, pressure washing businesses are not super complicated, so it kind of fits hand in hand with this type of business.
Absolutely. Okay, so Gavin, what other services does your company offer? Are you exclusive to pressure washing, or are you offering anything else?
I used to do more. Like in the beginning, when I was still learning, I would do other things like I sealed gutters or this or that, or I did some sanding, and that's fine. You can definitely offer other services and stuff. But in New Jersey, there's a huge market for pretty much anything. There's so many people. So I really just stick to pressure washing now. There's no need to get into other services. Like the only reason you would do other services is to make more money. But if you want to make more money, just focus on getting better at marketing. That's way easier, more effective anyway, to just stick to one thing. The only thing I really consider doing is Christmas lights, because here in New Jersey, the weather's so cold in the winter that you actually just have to like shut down basically. So I do consider doing that every year. I've done it the past 2 years. I'm still thinking about it again for this year. But other than that, I just stick to the same thing. But again, if you're in a smaller market, or you've got some other skill sets, or you're just starting out, um, offering other types of work is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everyone's different, and there's not a right answer to for everybody. So it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. You made a good point, Gavin. The more customers you have, the more you can specialize. The less customers you have, kind of the more resourceful you have to become. And that's probably why early on in your company,
Yeah.
you were doing extra services like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so just something to keep in mind for everybody out there. If you're just starting out, you might want to offer a couple more services because you don't have as many customers coming in. You want to take full advantage of the ones that you have. Gavin, let's get into how you plan to scale this company. Obviously, you got it to 200K. I don't think you have any employees currently. What are your plans for the future with regards to that?
I'm actually looking to hire or start the process of hiring people literally today, actually. So this is kind of a big coincidence. Um, I I'm new to this part of it because I haven't done this before, the scaling part, and the running the business part. So it's gonna be interesting, and I'm gonna have to learn a lot. But I'm gonna try to make an Indeed post today and see if I can get some good people for that. I'm gonna have people start marketing first and see how that works out when my numbers look for that. Because I have a little bit of profit I can afford to spend on it right now, and everything. So that's my plan right now, and I'm gonna do that and kind of go from there. I'm just one step at a time. But yeah, I'm actually like right there. So
Okay, beautiful. So you had mentioned getting people to sell first and foremost. Are you thinking like door to door, or what are we thinking on that?
I'm thinking door hangers, but I I don't know yet because I haven't tested it, but I'm pretty sure door to door is gonna be more profitable. Because even though door to door, is a whole nother thing, I've heard from most people that it's actually a really good way to drum up business pretty much in almost any part of the country or anywhere. Door to door just, it takes a lot of sweat equity and labor and stuff, but it works. But it's going to take salespeople or people that know how to sell. It's going to be harder than just putting up door hangers. So I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if I want to do door hangers first or door to door. I'm still thinking about it. That's a good question though.
Yeah, just for anybody on here, there's like the two first people that I did with regards to this series. They both have sales backgrounds, they both have door to door backgrounds, and they both have door to door
Yeah.
teams. So it is a good way to go that,
Yeah.
you can touch a lot of people that way. Gavin, let's get into the hardest part about scaling and growing your pressure washing business. Was there ever anything that you ran into that was like really tough for you to kind of get over?
For me, and I know a lot of guys, it's different. It's harder, but I actually somehow, like, I've just started this business and I just grew it, and it was not super complicated. I mean, I would just test out ways to market. I would find what works and I would just do it. I'm going to answer a different question, which is what's the hardest part about running this business? For me, in my experience, it's the spring, because when the spring comes for me, I'm working like 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week without any days off the entire time. I think in like the 3 month span of like May, June, July, or something like that, I probably had a grand total of like 2 days off, and I was working like 80, 90 hour weeks. So the hardest part for me is that part of the year where I'm just like, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day, I get home at 8 p.m. I'm just like grinding all day. That's the hardest part for me personally. Um, but I think as I step away from the truck and I hire people and I scale and I wear less hats, then the things that are difficult for me will become different. So, but for now, that's what it has been.
Beautiful, man. Was there a big shift for you, Gavin? I mean, going from being an employee to owning your own company, there's like a lot of things that need to happen. You have to wear a lot of hats. There's a lot of things that go wrong. It falls on your shoulders. So, was there any kind of a transitional phase there where you were going from that being a Target employee to running your company? That was kind of tough.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but I didn't just quit Target and just start my business. I was doing both to make sure that I could make some money and make this work. So I was doing both, and once this started taking off enough, then I just quit my job. Um, the transition was interesting. It was nice in a lot of ways because going from having, other people boss you around and tell you what to do is, for me, I don't really like that. It's just my personality. I'm just not a good employee, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Like I just don't like listening to managers. I don't know what it is. So being my own boss was nice, and then, having all my own success right on my shoulders and being determined by me and my actions was like really nice because at a 9 to 5 job, you can work really hard, and it's like, hey, maybe after 2 or 4 years or whatever, you'll become a manager and make $2 more an hour. But with pressure washing or owning your own business, if you do really good, you can make a ton more money than that. Like it's not going to be like an extra $2 an hour. It's going to be like an extra 50 or $100 an hour. Or like if you hire enough employees and stuff, it'll be like an extra freaking $500 an hour if you become like a really, really successful business. So having my own, you know, financial worth being determined by my own work and actions is like that's probably the nicest thing because I can kind of determine my own success. So
Right. It's like the more harder you work, the more reward you're gonna get rather than,
yeah,
I'm the same way. I'm not good at taking the
I,
orders, but
I don't know what it is. I just frankly they were jerks, man. They really were, and they were not. I'm trying not to be a jerk, but if I'm being honest, just they were not that smart of people. Like some of them were, but a lot of them were just like boneheads. I don't know. I'm not going to say any more on that, but I did not like that. So
no, it's all good. And I think you become who you surround yourself with. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I think you did a good job pulling yourself out of that job, learning from people that were in the business and learning what worked. I want to talk a little bit about a competitive advantage, Gavin, because like there's a lot of people that want to start a pressure washing business. There's a lot of people that have this business. What were you able to kind of, get as your competitive advantage over the people that had been in business for longer than you?
well, listen, I'm gonna give two answers again because there's a real answer and there's a polite answer. Your competitive advantage is you, right? If you can work smart and you can work hard, it doesn't really matter what is going on. Like you can make it work. I promise. I've done this and I've seen other businesses, and knowing what I know, if I was in most markets, I could still do the same thing. So the real answer is it's you. That's your competitive advantage. How hard you can work, whether you can work smart, that's the more important part. Working smart and knowing and like listening to people and figuring out what's going on with the business and how it works. That's the main thing. Now the other answer, which isn't as real, which is still applicable, um, my competitive advantage was that I didn't have a lot of overhead or bills, which helps. It did help. But even despite that, if I had like a family, I would have worked 3 jobs and still started this. Like I just would have, I couldn't work at Target anymore. Like I would have made it work once I like got off my butt and like freaking started grinding. So yeah, I mean, that might make a lot of people mad for some reason. I don't know. But I think it's a good thing because that means, if you want to change your life and you want something better for yourself, you can do it. Like it's all with you, whether you succeed or fail. I mean, there's not much else to it. Even if you come from a hard background, I mean, it's America. Like even if you have rough times, a lot of bills, debt, you can fight your way out of it. I promise. Like I know it sucks and it might not be easy, and that's not the answer a lot of people want to hear, but it's possible, and it's all on you, pretty much. So.
I do like the way you said that, Gavin, because at the end of the day, unless you're tired enough of your current situation, you're probably not going to do anything to get out of it. And so it sounded like, with regards to your job at Target, you got to a place where you were tired enough of the way things were to change something. What would you say, Gavin, is the biggest mistake that you've made in your wash business, or have you made any mistakes?
I made a really big blunder this year. It was my fault. I haven't really damaged anything, but I had this guy's house and I paid for it. I paid for the mistake. I made it right. The guy had like the siding when it was originally manufactured was kind of messed up because of the manufacturer messed up. So we had it spray coated by a company. And he told me all this before I started, right? And he was like, please just don't mess up the paint. Don't mess up the siding with the chemical, the yada, yada. And I'm like, I've done painted surfaces before and even painted siding before. So I'm like, it'll probably be fine. Like I've done this before and it hasn't been an issue. I even did a test spot. I did a test spot and it looked fine. So I went, and this guy was, pretty wealthy. Like, he lived in this house 30 seconds from the Jersey Shore. He was the freaking trauma physician for like this huge medical group, like the lead one. Like, this guy was, he had some money. But long story short, I did it. It looked fine at first. I get a call from him like 2 months later. He's like, "Yo, Gavin, my siding turned green." And I'm like, "Oh man, like this guy's siding was just like ruined." So basically, I damaged the siding. It was my fault. Even though I did a test spot and I didn't look at it at first, it is what it is. These things can happen. It ruined the paint on this guy's siding, and I had to pay like, I think, $10,000 to freaking have it repainted. And it's fine. It's fixed now, and it looks brand new. It looks better than when it was when I got there because it's fresh paint now, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I made a mistake. It happens. We all make mistakes. I just paid up for it. I did what was right, and now I know I will never pressure wash a house that's painted again. Even though most of the time it was fine, I don't want to take that risk again.
So Gavin made a massive mistake on a house that ended up costing him over $10,000. I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes, and that's exactly why we built the How to Wash 2 course. In that course, we go over all the chemicals you need to start a pressure washing business, how to use those chemicals, how to mix those chemicals, how to clean every single surface on a residential or commercial property, as well as everything from equipment, setup and breakdown of equipment on the job site, how to run a job site effectively and efficiently, chemical upsells that you can use, as well as best practices for remaining safe on the job and not damaging customers' property. If you guys are interested, I'll leave a link for it down in the comment section and the description below. It's over 8 hours of content. We've combined over 20 plus years of knowledge and information all contained within this course. So that way we can help you guys out to have the best pressure washing business possible. So if you're interested, the link will be down below. Check out the course and enjoy the rest of the video.
Dude, that
Yeah.
sucks, Gavin. Gavin, why
Yeah.
didn't you do like a insurance claim on it, or was that not an option?
I mean, the thing is, if you do I probably could have. If you do an insurance claim with anything, they're going to cover your cost of it, and then you're going to end up paying more in the long run. People don't realize that. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not against it, but it's just like financially, it's actually cheaper just to pay out of pocket. And then it's kind of hard to get insured if you make a big damage claim like that. It's a pressure washing business, so I just didn't file a claim. I'm just like, I have the cash, I'll just pay the guy, and that was that. So.
Dang, dude, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Okay, so since we talked about your biggest blunder, let's also talk about your biggest win. Do you have like any like huge wins that stick out? That was like I remember whenever you were going through the coaching, Gavin, you had that one account that I think it was like $120,000 quote. Any big wins since then, man?
I didn't win that account because I way overshot that one. That one was my fault. But I actually had a really interesting one. I was actually working by the shore, not on this guy's house, but on something else. A few, like, just my daily jobs during the spring, busy season. I think I worked like 10 hours. I was like literally about to head home. It was like 7 o'clock. I got a call, believe it or not, from literally Netflix. They were shooting a movie for, I don't know if I can say this. I don't know. I don't know if I can say what the movie is because I don't know if it's been revealed yet. Um, it's a Kevin Hart movie though. I'll say that. I'm not gonna say the name of the movie or anything, but they were literally shooting a movie in this like freaking mansion by the shore, and it was like a new construction build, this and that. But they had it. They were making the house look like it was from Florida,
Wait, Gavin,
even though it was shot in
Gavin,
New Jersey. So they were importing.
Gavin. Something
Yeah,
happened. I don't know if I lost connectivity. Can you say it over again from you got a call from Netflix? Can you just say that part again and then roll through it?
yeah. Okay. So I got a call from literally Netflix. Believe it or not, they were shooting a movie. They're shooting a movie in New Jersey, and I don't think they could say what the movie is because I don't know if it's been revealed yet. But I'll say it's a Kevin Hart movie. They're shooting a Kevin Hart movie, and the setting for the movie was supposed to take place in Florida at like a mansion. So they had this mansion, and they were like literally importing like a bunch of palm trees and sand and stuff to make it look like it was Florida because they were shooting in Jersey, but the setting was Florida again. So because of that, they had all like this. They had this massive area in front of the house that was all like pavers, like flat work. And they had, because they were importing all the trees and stuff, they had these giant machines like with these tracks, and they just ruined those pavers, dude. I mean, they just like there were black tire marks all over the thing. And they called me literally at 7 p.m. as I was finishing my day. They're like, "Hey," the guy literally told me, "It's like, hey, do you want to make some money?" And I thought he was just a random guy at first because I didn't realize. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm booked like 2 weeks out, this and that." And he's like, dude, I mean, we'll pay. He literally told me, dude, we're gonna pay you a lot of money. We're gonna make it worth your while. That's literally what he told me. And I'm like, how much money? And then we got to talking, and it was like something crazy, like 10,000 square feet of flat work. And I mean, I like, I quoted him $2,700 for it because I didn't need any chemical or anything. I was just gonna do a pass with the surface cleaner and then just like rinse it. I think it took me like 5 hours, but yeah, literally, I showed up. These guys emptied out because they were done for the day, and it was literally just me there pressure washing in the dark from like freaking 9 o'clock to like 2 in the morning for 5 hours. This freaking movie set, and then they paid me $2,700. And the craziest part of it was I didn't have a hot water machine or any chemical on me since this guy called so last minute, and I told them ahead of time, I'm like, dude, I probably can't get this out, just so you know. So you don't have to get this done with me. And he's like, no, it's fine. And like, just do your best. So I got there, and after all was said and done, I think like the tracks were still so visible. Like it was better, but they were just still there because I didn't have the equipment, and I told him that. But he's like, yeah, just do your best. And then the next day they like paid me and everything. They're like, yeah, looks great, man. Like you did a good job. I'm like, okay, I guess. So that's probably my craziest story so far that's happened, which is pretty interesting.
Dude, that's awesome,
So,
bro. That's a huge win. I mean, obviously you had to go out in the middle of the night and do that one, but that's
I
awesome, man.
did.
So, Gavin, last question for you, man. If you now could give Gavin, who was just quitting his job at Target and trying to start a pressure washing business, any advice, what do you think that advice would be?
Honestly, in hindsight, it might have been smarter to hire people earlier because I think I would have been able to scale faster and make money faster. Because I really came into this trying to play it slow and steady, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And hindsight's always 2020. But I think I was worried about bustering out or taking out, or having too much overhead. I definitely could have done that, but really it would just be like, in the beginning, charge more, which everyone hears. Like, you just charge more. It's fine. You don't need to be afraid. It's okay to charge more. I would have told myself not to freaking pressure wash that house that cost me $10,000. I mean, honestly, I feel like I've gotten really lucky in a lot of ways. I feel like things have gone pretty well for me overall, compared to most people. So I can't really complain that much, honestly.
One thing I do want to say, Gavin, after listening to like everything and how you kind of went through this whole journey, is I think you created your own luck. I think you created it by starting early, moving fast, not waiting for things to happen for you. You know what I mean? Taking action, limiting your liabilities, limiting your overhead. And I think your whole approach was very calculated. The way that you scaled your marketing in the beginning, you were doing kind of boots on the ground marketing, and then later on you moved to Google. I think everything was very calculated. And then the fact that you've reinvested so much back into your business to scale it to the point where it is, like, I don't think it's any, it's no coincidence that you've been as successful as you've been. So, dude, I really appreciate you for coming on, man, and sharing all this stuff with us.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Gavin, every guest that comes on the channel has picked the word of the day. What would you like the word of the day for this video to be?
Word of the day. What were the first two ones so I don't pick the same one?
Dude, honestly, I don't even remember. The one I just did was quit your job.
Quit your job? That's like 4 words. No, that's 3
Well, it
words.
can be more than one word. It doesn't have to be one word.
Okay, I'm gonna explain this. This might be a little bit segment at the end of your video, but it's good. It's the oh shoot, what do they call the 80-20 rule? What's the word for it? The something principle?
Yeah, the Pareto's principle.
Pareto's principle. That's your word. That's your word. It's technically 2 words, but that's your word. The Pareto's principle is, I believe it's 80% of your success comes from 20% of your efforts. That 20% is marketing. You don't have to be good at pressure washing. I mean, it's not hard to be good at pressure washing. But if you want to have a good pressure washing business, just get good at marketing. That's it. There's no secret. That is the secret. That's all you have to do. So that's your Pareto's principle for running a pressure washing business, okay? Put that in. That's very important. That's the only important thing.
Beautiful, Gavin.
So,
That'll be the word of the day. If you guys comment
yep.
that down below, hashtag your real one. Gavin, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Justin.